Recording in progress.
All right, so it is 11:46 a.m. today, and I'm calling this meeting of the Wakefield Youth Council into order. I'm going to take attendance. James,
Here.
Nathaniel,
Here.
Annabeth, myself here, Thomas,
Here.
He's here.
William,
Here.
Michaela,
Here.
Ahmed,
Here.
Madeline,
Here.
Maya,
Here.
Sophia,
Here.
Juliana,
Here.
Olivia, Vanessa,
Here.
and Aaron. Next on the agenda is public comment. Are there any members of the public wishing to speak today? Seeing none. Approval of the November 8th, 2023 meeting minutes. I'm going to pass it over to Thomas.
All right, great. So we had a very productive meeting on November 8th. We started with approving the last minutes, and then we had a presentation from Abby Hodgkin and Sienna Catazzoni from the Youth Action Team, who gave us a little update about their projects. We hope to have a very productive relationship with them going forward. We then heard about the School Culture and Bullying Prevention Initiative, which is something we're pursuing to try to provide more opportunities for students and teachers to combat bullying and try to provide a safer environment and resources for kids at both the middle and high school. We talked about the Snow Angels program, which we're going to get started very soon. We debriefed about the Farmers Market Bike Fillet and ways that we can support Wakefield veterans since we had to cancel the cleanup that we usually host. We talked a bit about Open Town Meeting and how the youth can participate. We heard from Nathaniel Chines about the Environmental Sustainability Committee and the work he's doing with them. We heard a bit more from other liaisons, talked about Meet the Members posts, and then we adjourned.
All right, do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I'm going to call down the roll. Please say yay or nay. James,
Yay.
Nathaniel,
Yay.
myself, yay. Thomas,
Yay.
William,
Yay.
Michaela,
I wasn't at the last meeting.
Ahmed,
Yeah.
Madeline,
Yay.
Maya,
I also wasn't at the last meeting.
Sophia,
Yay.
and Vanessa.
Yay.
So that passes. So now we're going to shift to talk about our School Culture and Bullying Prevention Initiative. So Catherine, Mr. Collins, and I met, and we are going to move forward with this initiative, which we're hoping to look to gather information and data from the student body on how to sort of elevate culture and create a safer space through different priorities and insights directly from the students. So we're looking to do that primarily through different surveys that through a survey that we're going to send out to students in Wakefield and potentially follow it up with several focus groups to kind of analyze what we need to do to implement necessary changes to kind of resolve some of the stuff that we saw during the youth risk behavior survey. So right now, what we're looking forward to do is kind of a brainstorming session to think about what we should ask in a survey. So some stuff that we kind of talked about were like bringing up different things that we noticed in town, things that worked in the past that we'd like to bring back, anything that we think that could elevate school culture, or questions that could bring forward that in a survey. So would anyone like to start us off? Yes, Sophia.
So I think maybe like talking about like how your family life is going. I think that's really like general, but like questions about that, because I know that affects like how you act and how other people act towards you. So maybe that could be like a question on it.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's great. Ahmed.
I think more in relation to school culture, potentially asking about either fundraisers or like more appealing fundraisers to them. Considering that I know as a junior class officer, we've had issues with school spirit and like school culture in general, specifically in regards to to fundraising, but also like in general, people not willing to participate within school events, which ties directly into school culture.
Yeah, like focusing on like the school spirit element of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Juliana.
I think asking people what resources they wish they had would be really helpful, just so we can kind of get a better idea and not just push things out there and them not do anything.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's something that like Mr. Collins even brought up, like wanting to give teachers more of those resources to help students with that. Yeah, Michaela.
I think we should also like do a survey for like teachers, just so we can see like how much like they're paying attention to like students like mental health and how students like are doing mentally in school. So like for example, like have you ever, or like how many times have you talked to a student like personally about certain problems they're having, or how many times have you noticed someone's body language being negative, I would say.
Yeah.
Just so we can like see like how much teachers are like actually paying attention to these things, and if they're not, well, we need to, you know, increase training on how teachers can like spot those trigger points and see how they can help.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. And like kind of furthering that, like how comfortable do teachers feel like handling those situations?
Mhm.
Kind of how well equipped.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like even with the discussion that we were having in school today, I think that that's definitely
I
great.
think it's also really important that every student has a trusted adult, because like it's so important, especially in school, and there's like so many people, and there's so much stuff going on. Sometimes it can be like a bit overwhelming, and just having like someone to talk to can be like a really beneficial thing. So I think it's important that everyone has an opportunity and is comfortable talking to a trusted adult.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, definitely. And I'm seeing Mr. Collins is joining us right now, and we kind of discussed this. Yeah, it's okay.
Filling in on what we
Yeah.
talked about.
So we're having the discussion about the school culture. So we've had some great points talking about kind of increasing like teacher awareness about it too, like trying to see what teachers like their perspective on it, how comfortable they feel. We talked about yeah.
So Sophia brought up questions about asking students if their questions about family life and how it impacts them, and if that it affects how they treat others or are feeling during the school day. And brought up people not willing to participate in school spirit events, and understanding why people don't want to do some of the things, like maybe a fundraiser or something. Juliana brought up asking people what resources they wish they had, asking students, are there resources you wish you had? And then Michaela started talking about, in addition to asking developing a survey for teachers, is just something your school culture team talked about administrating, asking students, again, if they have a trusted adult, and maybe some questions around that. So you
Yeah.
keep the questions coming, because
Yeah.
this is exactly how we're gonna help design this survey.
Yeah, Michaela.
I also think like further like for teachers, like I don't know if do you guys like ever have like professional like development days just solely for like mental health and like like training on like kids' mental health, or like I don't know.
We have. I wouldn't say we've had enough, in
Yeah.
my opinion. We definitely have, and we've also had opportunities where like teachers can kind of pick and choose which session they go to, because like a lot of times, like for example, right now, English, social studies, and special ed teachers are all in like a writing. So a lot of times our professional development ends up being academic or like content based. But I do think, and that's something I know that on the positive school culture team, which is a team at the Galvin of staff, that's our goal is to kind of boost the culture throughout the Galvin. One of the things we've been talking about and trying to be focused on is like what we can bring in for staff in terms of training and development, just as much as we're trying to bring in resources for kids, because I do think, and that's honestly why I brought this whole idea of this survey up, because I think that staff a lot of times are unsure, and a lot of times even if they can identify the problem, don't know the steps to reach some sort of solution. So I completely agree. I think that training around mental health, training around inclusivity, training around bias, unconscious bias, all those sorts of things, I think are super important for our staff, because we can't help students if we don't have the resources at our disposal.
Yeah, I think it's really important. I really agree with that. I think like when we get like the data results of like our surveys, we should definitely like try to increase the amount of professional development days that teachers have on training with mental health. So I guess that's just an input.
No, and the timing's perfect, because after having two kind of mental health focused one at the Galvin and one at the high school today, that was something that has come up, is that teachers feel like they might need a little more training?
Kind of playing off of that, like maybe giving examples of different scenarios and being like, how would you, for the teachers, like how would you go about like reacting to this and try and help the student, whether it be like if a student starts having a panic attack, or if a student like whatever, that's like the first one that came to mind, but like whatever it may be, how would you go about reacting to it and trying to help the student? And then we can see like, okay, like teachers kind of know what to do in this situation, but not this one.
Yeah, Ahmed.
I like that idea, of course. Like, obviously, I'm not against mental health or anything of the sorts. I do support that. But I think it would also be key to prior maybe to doing something like that with teachers to potentially asking them their opinion on having such a training in the if we do like initiative form for the teachers, asking them about what they would want to learn and what they think is stronger, like is a stronger scenario for them. And then based off that, based off the results you get from that, maybe potentially even setting up a follow-up form to that forum, and maybe have some scenarios in there, something of the sort, just really just to gauge the amount of knowledge that teachers have, because I understand that this training is required, but there might be teachers that feel that they're more comfortable and more equipped with some topics, and we just want to be conscious of teachers' minds and teachers' information to almost like not reteach them or to make them in a ways feel less likely to support this topic.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and like, do people have more like ideas for like the youth survey component of it too? Like some stuff that, oh, yeah, Thomas.
Similar to what Ahmed said, I think we should also ask students, how do you feel teachers are regarding this stuff? And, do you feel that teachers can help you in sort of meaningful ways? Do you think there are ways that they're lacking in training? Do you think there are any specific things that could help teachers better help you? And just sort of gather data like that to see how students actually feel the teachers are lacking in terms of helping them with things like these.
Yeah, definitely. And I just want to say one quick thing. Even going just like a little bit even beyond the teachers, something that I think about with school culture is there like a culture of like student on student support too? Like, do you feel supported by your classmates and by your friends with different things? Like, do you feel like you can come forward to them with different stuff, and that's like a valid source of support and connection? I feel like that's really reflective of how we feel together as like a community. Michaela.
I was also gonna add like on the survey, I think we should ask how much sleep students get. So I think sleep is really important to like mental health. It's really good to just like take time for yourself and kind of like recharge. Because like oftentimes like when I find myself not getting enough sleep, I'm very grouchy and I'm very negative, and I don't really see like a lot of like the positive. So I guess like measuring how much students actually sleep, and once again, like I know we talked about this before, but like going further with that, like how much homework are students getting, and like how much is that affecting time for themselves and like their sleep schedule. I think that's really important to measure, and we the conversations that we're having with teachers, we can also say like how much homework affects a student's mental health if too much is given. You know what I mean? So I just think I think that's really important also.
Vanessa, I think I saw him.
I also think maybe seeing like student involvement could be important, because I feel like if students are more involved, they're less likely to like have risky behavior and like tendencies like that. And then also asking how many programs they have actually used, like different resources, and which ones they're aware of, so that if they're not aware of them, we could maybe like push them more on our social media, and then if some are really popular, we could put more energy or less energy into certain things.
Are there specific programs or activities that you think increase school culture? Like, have you seen an example of a program or something that improves school culture?
Maybe like sports or like music, things like that.
Yeah.
I think just like during the school, like I know the door decorating contest at the high school is a very big thing, and that's always something like I get so excited about every year. I am the least artistic person on this planet. can't do art at all, but like that gets me so excited every year, like collaborating with my classmates and my teachers. I think there should be like a time, like maybe like extended homeroom where you can where like you and your teacher, your homeroom teacher, and your classmates can work together on decorating a door, because I know a lot of teachers are don't really coordinate like class time into that. So even like if you don't do like any extracurriculars outside of school, you still get that like bonding with your peers, and I think that's really important. So
Right. So maybe putting on the survey questions about cultural, like school culture building activities like door decorating or like the gobbler games, things like that. You know, maybe there could be more of those throughout the year. Yeah, because I do think sometimes those people, you know, we asked students when they left the Galvin what were some of their favorite memories, and they were those like positive school culture building activities where it's like a kickball tournament or those types of things.
Yeah, definitely making sure that there are more opportunities for collaboration, because I feel like that's kind of like a core tenet of school culture. Yeah, Nathaniel.
So I maybe on the survey also doing something like either like a statement or some sort of question that talks about what a trusted adult is and what they mean to you, because maybe you had like a teacher that you liked but you wouldn't really consider them someone that you're able to open up to as much. So yeah, maybe.
So really define what a trusted adult is.
Yeah,
Because
and then-
there are a lot of people are like, yeah, I like that teacher, but I wouldn't tell them that
Yeah.
something is happening.
Yeah, and then maybe also because obviously a trusted adult is different for everyone. So maybe also having a question like, what values do you find in a trusted adult? And
Yeah, definitely. And kind of along like similar lines, something I had been thinking about was kind of just reflecting like straightforwardly on what's like people's perceptions of like the current status of school culture is, like what it really means to them. How would they define the current school culture? And I know that's kind of a complicated question, but even in like simplistic terms, kind of like what sticks out to them as like the core of school culture at Wakefield. Maya, did I see it?
So to add on what Nathaniel said about almost like school counselors, guidance counselors at school, I feel like sometimes they have so much on their plate that like students can't utilize like the time they need to talk about them. They always say like if you need to go to guidance, but I feel like as someone who's been to the guidance department before, they may be busy with something and you're kind of just left there with like nowhere to go and like just handle it yourself. So like talk about do you feel this way, and if so, where do you go, or how can you try to like navigate through that?
Yeah, I think that's really that's a great point, because I know that's like a common thing
Yeah,
that
it's like a big issue.
yeah, and I know that a lot of people, they don't really get to know their guidance counselors until they actually start
So like
applying.
college stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe at the high school, they don't even know who their adjustment counselor is, because there are 2 adjustment counselors that are assigned to students, and they might not know
Yeah.
that.
And we don't even really have meetings with them, like our adjustment counselor. So maybe again, like something like that.
it's only like if you want to talk to them that they really meet with you. Like I think there's
There's no introduction.
Yeah, I think there's one presentation in health class during the year where freshman year, where they come in and they introduce themselves, but that's really it. Like I think there needs to be more.
Promotion about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And kind of like almost like a continuous platform that people like, because I know that people might be uncomfortable about trying to find like the right avenues to actually get to a school adjustment counselor. So kind of making sure that there's like an open like dialogue opportunity for anyone that would ever feel as though they need to reach out to or even just want to reach out to a school adjustment counselor, making sure that there's a simple opportunity for that. Yeah.
It's very good.
William?
I'm not sure how relevant this will be in future years, but I will say I did not even know we had adjustment counselors because I was online throughout all of freshman year, so they did not introduce or make themselves vocal at all.
I don't think you're the only one.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, Juliana.
I'm not sure if this is their only office, but I know the major one that a lot of people that I know use is in the history wing. which is kind of out of the way of everything in the school. And I forget about them, quite honestly. I forget about them a lot because they're just so out of the way.
Yeah.
I don't even know who my adjustment counselor is.
This is really good information.
I know recently they've hired like 2 more like adjustment counselor staff members, but like I couldn't even tell you their name, to be honest. Like I've seen their room before, but I don't really see them in the halls or anything like
I
that.
haven't even heard of that.
Me neither.
I haven't even heard of
Yeah,
that.
I know that they briefly touched upon it during the grade orientation when I went, and that was only for incoming 9th graders, and that was the only really time that I actually heard that there were new adjustment counselors. So I think that definitely increasing that visibility in relation to school culture to kind of make a more comfortable space is really important throughout the high school, and also yeah.
I would say this was kind of like, at least for me, like the point of why I think a survey like this would be so beneficial. Because like this is, I mean, I'm mostly not up at the high school, so I don't know those sorts of things. But like, these are the type of things that we discover when we kind of open the forum up to students. Because I'd be willing to bet that a lot of people up at the high school don't even know that this is like the feeling or the sentiment about the adjustment counselors. And I feel like same thing, if we did this at the Galvin, things would come up that probably haven't been on my radar or any of the teachers' radars or administrators' radars, and then we now have something that we can kind of work on to make better and more accessible for you guys. And one of the things I was thinking, just as some questions being thrown around as well, is one thing that's helpful, I feel like, because I try to give like all my students like feedback surveys so they can give feedback on me, like I do one before Thanksgiving and towards the end of the year, and I try to make it so like when asking about like a trusted adult or when asking about, I try to say like what's something specific that a teacher has done in the past that has made you feel comfortable or made you feel safe, so that like instead of saying like, yeah, I feel fine, or yeah, I feel good, like they have to give a specific example that then
like
like
that.
at the beginning of the year I always
Kinda
ask
what
my
you were
kids to
saying.
like, who's your favorite teacher and why? Because then like that why piece is like, oh well, you know, Mr. So and so always gave me study guides and that really helped me learn, and then like I now have something that I could specifically do if I didn't already do that. So trying to like even frame the questions in that way of like a specific thing that was done or a specific thing that was said, or like I've had like, we had some trainings last year about like just putting like a safe space sticker on your door is something that can like maybe make one kid feel like a little bit more comfortable walking into your room. So having like specific, like framing the question so that no one can write like, yeah, it's good, or like they were nice. And that's why they're my trusted adult is always helpful.
Yeah, definitely. And I think even when you said just one kid, I feel like that's what can make a dramatic difference, because one kid turned into a lot of kids. And I think that that's like the significant change that needs to happen. Yeah, Sophia.
So what Mr. Collins just said, so like last year I had a history teacher, who after every test and after every quarter would give us like a survey of what we thought about him and what he can improve on. And same thing with tests. If we thought the test was easy, if we thought it's too hard, if we're comfortable taking it, if we need to retake it. And I felt so much more comfortable in his class, and I loved his class. So hopefully I can get him again. But
That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that definitely opening up opportunities for like students to be like receptive to their teachers too is really important for dialogue. Yeah, Michaela.
I think it's also like really important to like ask those questions, especially on like a Google form or a paper form, because like I feel like as someone who is disabled, I always get so uncomfortable at the beginning of the year when I have to like tell my teachers like, hey, I have a 504, I need this and this and this, and could you please like make sure you're accommodating me. Like it's very awkward, especially when it's like the first day and you could have a teacher like in high school that you had in the past, but some of your teachers are brand new and you've never had a conversation with them before, and like that's the first conversation that you have to have. So I think it's really important to like have like paper surveys and like Google Forms, so like kids can write it down instead of actually talking to them, because it is a little bit like uncomfortable. Like I take pride in like advocating for myself. I think it's really important to advocate for yourself, but sometimes like a lot of people aren't comfortable speaking it verbally, and it's much better if they like write it or type it down. So I think that's great what you're doing, like providing questions of like, what can you do to meet this individual's certain needs? So
Yeah, definitely. Madeline?
What I was gonna say similar to that, because I've had similar experiences of like having a disability, like first of every year, like you got to go to a teacher and try and explain everything. And I think that a question maybe to be on there would be like, what is like something your teacher could do to make you feel like they're like open to being accommodating, not just like I had a teacher last year who was like, if I don't legally have to give you this accommodation, then I'm not doing it. Like it's either on your 504, and like she would follow it to like the exact what was on there. Whereas I've got teachers this year that are like, yeah, but like what do you need in this moment? And so they'll be more flexible with it. So like having a spot where students can be like, oh, this is what a teacher's done that's made me feel like they were more open to being accommodating and actually cared more, as opposed to like, oh, I'm legally bound to do this for you. Or I don't know if that makes sense.
Kind of like I completely understand what you're saying. Kind of just increasing that like comfort level to talk, like instead of like putting up walls, like opening up channels of dialogue, which I think is super important.
And I really like that piece about the writing it, because and when we do other, like some of the screenings and stuff, students take surveys or things like that, and we get more information versus if we were, I mean, you guys are different, but if you were to go into a room of students and ask them, well, what do you think about this? But
Yeah.
perform, so great ideas.
Like especially like anonymous stuff, like people feel a lot more comfortable being open, and they're more likely to actually like share what they think, which I think is super important to get that honest feedback.
We got a lot of good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Vanessa.
I think it's important to teach like teachers and other adults in the building how to be like a trusted adult too, through these surveys, especially because there's a lot of like common ones. If you ask someone, oh, who's your trusted adult, I think we'll hear a lot of the same few names, and those people also tend to be overworked and they're constantly doing other things, and so they don't have a lot of time. So I think teaching other adults how to help support those specific teachers, and then like kind of taking the, I don't know, pressure off of them, and maybe asking if they have multiple adults at the school. Like if one teacher is busy, what is their next step? Do they have another teacher to rely on?
Yeah, definitely. I think that that's super important.
And I think that's why we hope that you all will share some of this. And Mr. Collins is going to work for some opportunities for you to share some of this, the data from the surveys, and then hopefully some follow-up focus group and interviews with the faculty, so that there can be some lessons learned. And some things might be as simple as better communication. I know in all of our lives, sometimes something might be happening and we just don't know about it, or there's a better way to find out about something, both ways, for teachers to communicate and for students to communicate. So
yeah, definitely. I think that these are great steps forward. Does anyone have anything else that they'd like to add? Yeah, this was a really great discussion. So we're gonna take this, all this data, and we're gonna streamline it to make it into that form, working with Mr. Collins and Catherine, and the Galvin Positive School Culture team, to kind of be able to like create this and then collect the data to then work towards implementing different things. So yeah, thank you, everyone. So next on our agenda, if no one has anything else to say on that piece. So next on the agenda is our Communications and Outreach Subcommittee update. So Madeline, do you want to take it from here?
Yeah, so yesterday the Communications and Outreach Subcommittee had a meeting, and it went really well. We had a presentation from the Environmental Club at the high school, and they talked about their partnership. Is that like or they're working with their project?
Yeah.
With Tree Plenish, which is a program where people can order to have like trees planted around Wakefield. It's a really, really great initiative. And we also talked about getting like the final meet the members, posts up, and there's a couple people that I still don't think have filled out the form. So if that could get done as quickly as possible, that'd be very appreciated. I don't know who they are off the top of my head, but that, and then also we talked about getting a post up for the Human Rights Commission's MLK Day event. So
Yeah, thank you, Madeline. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, and with the environmental club, what they're kind of looking for us to do is to kind of promote and kind of give visibility on their social media pages, because they're looking for more volunteers and looking for more ways to kind of like spread them out into the community with what they're doing, which is to, yeah, as Madeline said, to plant trees in people's backyards of residents of Wakefield. Different opportunities to do
When
that.
is that happening?
So they're going to start their marketing phase in January, and then the deadline, I believe, of their project is March 30th, 2024. Yep, Kayla?
And like, does anyone know when they meet? Because I would love to go to a meeting and check it out.
They have a Google Classroom. I know Maya Neal and Alex Stromsky are the founders. I could always talk to them about if anyone's interested, to let me know. I'm also part of the club. But yeah, they haven't had a set meeting yet, but they're soon. I want to say somewhere on maybe December 15th.
I think on their Instagram page, I think that they have the Google Classroom code too. I think it's WHS Environmental Club. So if anyone's interested in looking more into that, yeah. I think that was about the environmental club. I think that was it. So continuing kind of like with Meet the Members, I prepared an infographic just to kind of show, because I know that we talk a lot about like the algorithms and why like it's important to post like 3 times a week. And so I think that this is kind of like showing like the successes of like different posting stuff like this. So I kind of split it up into our Facebook and our Instagram growth. So with the graph, I put like the very first, like where the actual curve starts, that was our first Meet the Members post, and it kind of, like once we started posting regularly, our Facebook growth, like how visible we are, it shot up by a lot and consistently stayed higher. So we're reaching consistently a lot of new people. And with Instagram as well, it kind of gives us the analytics of how much our account has grown. Like across the board, we had like triple-digit growth, like across like our likes, our post interactions, our profile visits, how many accounts we're reaching. So I think it kind of shows like the importance of an initiative like this, because it not only, it goes beyond just Meet the Members and gives more visibility to the actual initiatives that we're doing too, which is really great from stuff like this. So yeah, and we're all getting spotlighted too, like the great work that we do, which is really important.
I've had people comment to me in the community about it because they've seen it on social media. So that whole idea of for social media to have to post often, this is a perfect example of that. So thank you so much for putting this together.
There was one more point that I wanted to talk about. So Juliana, at the last meeting, I know that you brought up the ambassadors program for Safe Streets and that they're looking for us to like promote that. Did you receive those resources from the Safe Streets program, or the stuff that we would be posting?
Yeah, I believe she sent me the flyers.
Okay, yeah. Could you send that to me and Madeline?
I can.
That way? Yeah. Okay, yeah, that sounds perfect. And I know that as Madeline said, Vanessa has been reaching out to us with Sherry Oken about the MLK information, and those posts will also be going up shortly.
They also have a meeting. They have a meeting this month. I think it's in 2 weeks, so I'll be attending that too. And if there's any updates, I'll let you know.
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
perfect.
so you
Yeah,
attended
I
that
was about to say
meeting as
Michaela's
well.
our liaison.
I went to the last meeting for the first time, and it went really well. And they talked a lot about the MLK presentation that they're doing on MLK Day. So I think with the MLK Day planning, it's going very well.
Yeah, that's great. So if there's no more comments on that, our next item on the agenda is we have a presentation from Sophia on her liaison with the Recreation Department.
So me and Dan were talking on Thursday. I met him when I was doing window painting, and Catherine too, because I was doing the Civic Center, and we came up with an idea to do like maybe like I don't know, like a divert like.
So do you want to talk about the Alpine Cultural Exchange?
So Dan runs the Albion Cultural Exchange, and it's like a place to showcase like art and talent and that sort of thing. So maybe we can do something to show it. Like, I guess show art and like our appreciation for it.
Yeah, so what, in our conversation, Sophia, Dan said, I'd love to get youth to know about this space. Has anyone been to the ACE building on Albion Street and seen art there? So what's great is Dan offered to Sophia and the youth council use of that space. So because they would like the, the town and youth to start using the space, understanding. So one of the ideas, I think it was your idea, Sophia, is maybe having like an open mic night or a coffee house. So you could do that for Wakefield youth and people could come and, you want to talk a little bit more about that?
He did say that Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays would work the best. Probably not Fridays because we're all doing other stuff on a Friday. So maybe like any dates and any ideas to use it.
I know that maybe like once or twice a month there's a couple that host like a storytelling night for adults, but I know it's only like 18 plus. Maybe we could do that for kids just to kind of have an experience, because I know I've wanted to go to them but I can't because I'm not 18. And I'm sure a lot of other kids would want to go if they knew it was a thing they could go to.
Yeah, that sounds great. Michaela?
I feel like with the open mic night too, we could also have like a donation thing, for like people can like donate money and we can bring the money back to like certain organizations, especially like recreation organizations that promote recreation and like activities and fun, especially like for kids. Like you were saying how there could be like a kids like storytelling night. I think it'll be really cool if like there was like a donation like box for money, and we can like donate that money to like recreation organizations so that we can improve recreation in our town.
Yeah, I love that.
I've actually been to the storytelling night, and the couple that runs it, they've experienced, and they're actually going to be leading classes at the library on how to do kind of like a story slam. I wonder if they'd be open to being approached to kind of help the youth with a story. If you decide to do the story slam versus an open mic night.
I think we can do like anything he said.
So, I mean, it's up to you all to decide what you think would be best, but there's some lots of talented adults that would be willing to support, I think, youth in this community. And the story slam has been really fun, and I didn't know what to expect, and I really enjoyed it. So
Yeah, I think this all sounds great. I think that this is such a great opportunity for us to really provide more opportunities for the youth in this town to kind of go into different things and like also support the Albion Cultural Exchange, which is a great location in town. Yeah, Kayla?
I think it also like ties back to what we were saying about like student culture, like bringing the youth together, because I know like Vanessa talked about how like if a student like isn't involved in many things, they can be prone to like risky behavior. So I think it's really important that like the town promotes like certain nights or host certain things, especially for youth to connect across all ages too. Like it can be from elementary schools all the way up to the high school. Like connecting those different ages together, I think will be really important for students' mental health and going back to like the student culture aspect of everything.
Yeah, I think that's what Dan was trying to do, just to bring youth together more, because we're also separated, especially after COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what he's trying to do.
So maybe, Sophia, you could ask to see if anyone wants to join you in helping to organize this event.
Oh yeah, I would love some help. So if anyone wants to help, you can like email me. I'll email Dan back. So.
Is anyone interested right now? And
I'll be interested.
Yeah, I'd be interested. Yeah, definitely to help with this. Yeah, this sounds like such a great initiative. I'm really happy that Dan approached you with this, because I feel like it does, as Michaela said, it really does tie back to the school culture part of it, like bringing students together.
And I think that could help in the winter. Like a lot of people experience with the days short and the dark day, have something to try it out in something like January, and then if it's successful, you could repeat it.
Yeah, definitely something to look forward to, especially during the winter time.
Yeah, I mean, because it's so close to the holidays, we can do something like celebrating like Hanukkah. I know starting next week, like Christmas and New Year's. We can do something there too.
Yeah, definitely. I think that sounds great. Does anyone have any other comments on this? So next on the agenda is general liaison updates. So does anyone have any updates from their liaison since the last time we met? Yeah, Madeline.
So this past Monday, a couple days ago, I went to the Commission on Disabilities meeting. That was the first meeting that I've attended, and it was really great. They were some things that they were talking about were they were trying to originally raise the fine for if like an able-bodied person parks in a handicap parking space, and the police basically came back and said we've only had one person in the last 3 years do that, which is definitely not true. So then the conversation kind of shifted to, okay, how do we hold people accountable for this instead? Because there are definitely people that park in handicap parking spots that shouldn't be. And that was the main point of what they were talking about. And they're waiting to get an update on the wheelchair accessible swing, which is going in at the, I want to say Walton?
Yeah,
Walton.
That's so exciting. I love that.
Which is a really fabulous thing that they're doing. They don't think that it's been they're not sure exactly when it's getting installed, but it'll be sometime soon.
Yeah, that's definitely great an update to hear that news, especially all together with all that. It's great to see that coming to fruition, which is really important. Yeah. Yeah, Julian.
On I think sometime last week I attended a Safe Streets Wakefield meeting, and they're getting ready to approve, or they're getting ready for their final review of the bike ped plan and to present it for the final time in front of the town council in the hopes that it'll get approved. They really voiced how much they would appreciate some youth representation at the town council meeting on Monday. I can't go because I have work, but I was wondering if anyone else wanted to go and just kind of voice how you've experienced biking or walking or just getting around any way other than a car in Wakefield, and any negative or positive experiences you've had, and just your
Which
thoughts
Monday's
on
the
Monday, December 11th.
okay, so this Monday coming up.
Sorry, kind of short notice, but
Great experience to get in front of town council, and I do think youth are some of the people that are don't have a choice to be on bikes and on their feet. So
What time is it?
7 p.m. I assume it's at the Galvin, or it might be here.
it's here.
It's probably here.
Is anyone interested or available?
Yeah,
I'd be willing to.
yeah, that's great. I'm the liaison to the town council, but unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go to that meeting due to sort of practice. But definitely,
Thomas can.
I can also try to. It depends on my wrestling practice whether it goes late or not, but
Yeah.
I'll try to make it.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
great.
they just wanted 1 or 2 youth representatives.
So so Thomas and Ahmed, and we can ask who. Aaron's not here, and who else is here? Annabeth. To see if they want to, but maybe Thomas, you can touch base with Julia. You guys can touch base so she can catch you up to speed.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for bringing that forward. Does anyone else have any liaison updates? Yeah, Michaela.
Yeah, so check out my notes. I'm with the Human Rights Commission about 2 weeks ago. One of the big things, the town council came in and spoke, and they were updating the Human Rights Commission on their flag policy. They want to update the flag policy so that it's more inclusive and stuff like that. They definitely want feedback from the community. And so one of the things they talked about was they wanted additional flagpoles at town hall to be able to fly more flags. They also talked about raising each branch of the military's flags on their birthdays. However, the Veterans Advisory Board did not agree on this, so I don't know if there's been any updates about that. But for right now, the Veterans Advisory Board did not agree. But that's basically the flag policy. They basically showed us the whole document and offered for us to provide our feedback. So I think that was very useful. We also, the Human Rights Commission also talked about having events at schools called like they're called Understanding Our Differences. So it's really like a spotlight on like people with disabilities and like talking about their disabilities and how it affects them. So I think it'll be really important for people to see, you know, not everyone is the same, and everyone has different challenges that they face. But you know, if we all work together, we can be an inclusive community. So I think that's really important for especially disability awareness. So I think they are trying to go through with that. They also were planning on MLK Day. They talked about that a little bit. But yeah, overall, a great first meeting with them, and I'm really happy to work with them.
Yeah, that sounds great. It's really great to hear that you're having a great relationship with the WHRC. So I'm really happy to hear that. Does anyone else have any liaison updates? Yeah, Vanessa.
Well, it's not my liaison, but I know Sherry Oaken, who's Sherry Oaken. I always get them confused. She is the chair of the Wakefield Human Rights Commission, and she reached out about the TAB training. And so I was in contact with representatives from the TAB company, and so I got a meeting for tomorrow with Miss Delory and Amy from Wakefield Youth Action Team, and that will be tomorrow. And so we'll talk about how we can implement this through the Unite program, Youth Council, and then Youth Action Team.
Yeah, that's great to hear that we're like working with different youth-based groups in the town to kind of spearhead this TAB training. So I think that's really great to hear that we're moving forward with that. Does anyone else have any liaison updates? All right, seeing none. So next on the agenda is the Snow Angels program. So has there been any update on progress with the Snow Angels program since our last meeting?
No, I have to look at those flyers still.
Okay.
It did snow today, so that's a wake-up call. I'm gonna get on that.
Yeah.
So all we really need from you, Juliana, is to create the sign-up flyer and the new sign-up form. And once you have that, if you want to send it to me, then we will get that, start pushing that out through the schools. So I don't think it should take, do you have access to the old sign-up form?
Yes, I believe. Yeah, I
Okay,
have them
think you
bookmarked.
created it, yeah. And then James, we need to meet with Karen at the Council on Aging to see how many seniors have signed up. So when do you want to do that? Do you want to just do it over Zoom, or do you want to go in person?
I'm cool with either.
Okay, because I think that will be easier. She's able to put it in her, and I think she's going to try to mitigate it so they don't get as many, they get people that truly need it and that don't have the ability to go and shovel, which will help with the number of people. I actually heard in Melrose that they had to cancel the Snow Angels program because they had 90 seniors sign up and only 12 youth sign up, so they just couldn't make that happen, and it was just too much. So it can be a challenge, so we have to
make sure we compensate for that. Yeah, definitely. So it's great to hear that we're going to be moving forward with that. So next on the agenda, I provided for an open town meeting recap. So on November 18th, there was the open town meeting at the Galvin. So I attended and took notes kind of like to discuss or just to provide like a brief overview for everyone here. So most of the meeting was in regards to like approving the budget curated by the town council and town administrator, different like uses of monetary funds for the town, approval of like the collective bargaining agreements for firefighters, police officers, and police officer superiors of Wakefield, as well as a personal real estate exemption for like select groups of taxpayers, which were vets, surviving spouses, seniors, and the blind. And then the last article was Article 7, which was amending the Stretch Energy Code to make it a specialized energy code. So I actually spoke during this meeting in favor of the article, which would limit fossil fuel usage in new construction and increase energy efficiency across the town. So it would result in Wakefield being elevated as a green community and open it up to greater incentives from different green programs in Massachusetts. So it was passed. So that was great to see. And it was overall very, that was also my first time actually going to open town meeting. So it was a great experience for anyone who went. So yeah, and that's a really great way to kind of see like the inner workings of town government, which is, it's interesting how Wakefield operates like that, which is not necessarily very common elsewhere outside of Massachusetts.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
town meeting is very unique, and cities don't have it. So Melrose doesn't have a town meeting where they get to vote.
Yeah.
Wakefield does. So I encourage you at some point in your middle school or high school experience to go and witness a town meeting.
Yeah, it's definitely a great and rewarding experience. Yeah.
I'm glad you thought that.
Yeah.
It can be a little long.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah. So now for item 11, just general announcements. So I have a couple here. So I reached out to Paul and David Mangan from the Veterans Advisory Board, and they kind of provided me some updates on their wreath laying information. So they're having a wreath laying event at the, hold on, let me just check. I believe it's at the Forest Glade Cemetery, on December 16th at noon. So they're looking for us to kind of just promote it on our social media pages, and to try to see if people are available to volunteer during that time.
So can you make like a Canva post and push that out? Yeah. I would push it out soon, so then
Yeah.
you can get that.
Sorry, did you say what time it was?
At noon.
Okay.
And then I know that Vanessa has been working on getting the first finance working group meeting set up. Just make sure that everyone who signed up to be a part of that, just make sure that we're filling out the doodle poll when Vanessa's sending it out. So did you have anything else that you wanted to say on that?
No, that was it. I'll send one out soon.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Budget season started.
And then I don't have any other announcements on my part. So did anyone else have anything else that they'd like to say? So next on the agenda is determining our next meeting date. So it's kind of an awkward time calendar wise because winter break is coming up soon. So would we be looking to have, I don't know when the next half day is. Check.
I think it's January 10th.
January 10th. Yeah, that's kind of a longer time to go without a meeting, or do you think?
It's about a month away, and we've got the holidays in
Yeah,
between.
that's true.
So I think if everyone stays on top of their, and Sophia, you'll move your project forward. Snow Angels will move forward. School culture. So you have a lot of projects that need to get moved
Yeah,
forward. I
definitely.
don't think it's the worst idea.
Yeah, definitely. As long as we're all staying on top of like our liaison stuff and our different
So you need to
initiatives.
keep us on top of our things.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, that just reminded me of something else that I forgot to put under announcements. So I did email people this past week because Sherry Dalton reached out to me that some people still hadn't done their ethics requirements and the handbook that was supposed to be done, I believe, 30 days within being part of the youth council. So that just needs to be completed as soon as possible if you received one of those emails. So yeah, and then you can reach out to me or Sherry with any questions as to that. Did anyone have anything else they would like to say before we adjourn the meeting? Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Call down the roll. Please say yay or nay. James?
Yay.
Nathaniel?
Yay.
Myself, yay. Thomas?
Yay.
William?
Yay.
Michaela?
Yay.
Ahmed?
Yay.
Madeline?
Yay.
Maya?
Yay.
Sophia?
Yay.
Juliana?
Yay.
Vanessa?
Yay.
All right, so we have adjourned unanimously. Thank you all for this great meeting today. And I'll be in touch as to some of the stuff that we discussed today. Thank you.